up, guys? It's Immortal Mafia here, and today I'm going to be talking about a recent update that YouTube is in the process of pushing out. So, what is this update? Well, YouTube is basically pushing out an update where the dislike button count, so like when you dislike a button, there's like a number next to it telling you how many dislikes there are. Well, what they're going to do is for all videos, whether the creator wants to or not, it's basically going to no longer show the dislike count. The dislike numbers will still be able to be seen by YouTube creators in YouTube Studio, but they won't be public on their videos. So we're gonna get into some stuff and YouTube's official video about this, and some other stuff posted on Twitter's and people's overall thought. So here's a article posted by TechCrunch. This was posted yesterday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard. It says here, YouTube today announced its decision to make the dislike count on videos private across its platform. The decision is likely to be controversial given the extent that it impacts the public's visibility to the video's reception. But YouTube believes the change will better protect its creator from harassment and reduce the threat for what it calls dislike attacks, essentially when a group teams up to drive up the number of dislikes a video receives. Company says while the dislike counts won't be visible to the public, it's not removing the dislike button itself. Users can still click the thumbs down button on videos to signal their dislike to creators privately. Meanwhile, creators will be able to track their dislikes in YouTube Studio alongside with other analytics and their video's performance if they choose. This follows up from an experiment YouTube did earlier this year. The goal was to determine if these sort of changes would reduce dislike attacks and creator harassment. So, anyways, moving on from this, we're going to take a look at the official video that YouTube posted, and we're just going to talk about little details and stuff like that, and get into the comments a little bit.
Hey folks, you may have seen a while back that YouTube announced it was experimenting with making dislike counts private to only the creator of the video. Now, if you're like me, you were surprised by that. I mean, I've always thought seeing the number of dislikes on a video helps us know as viewers if it's a good video or not, if it's a
Yeah,
helpful
exactly.
tutorial or not, or if what a creator is saying in their video is generally agreed with or not. But unfortunately, research teams at YouTube have found there's this whole other use for disliking a video that I had never experienced as a creator, and you may not have either. Apparently, groups of viewers are targeting a video's dislike button to drive up the count, turning it into something like a game with a visible scoreboard. And it's usually just because they don't like the creator or what they stand for.
Well, here's the thing though, like most of the time, there's a reason for that. Like, I haven't really seen these campaigns to like, oh, let's just dislike bomb this video just because, hey, we want to dislike bomb this video. The reason why people like dislike a video is because it's a bad video or something like a bad tutorial, whatever. Like that's the reason people dislike it. Are there maybe a few bad eggs or random cases where it has happened before, like just maybe a certain channel or whatever? Maybe, but at the same time, does that really outweigh like the benefits of having the dislike button? Something that's been on YouTube since the very start and a very fundamental of YouTube. Is it really worth getting rid of it just for a few bad eggs? And just because a few people are, I guess, sensitive to live with that? Like, so they had a bad video. What are they gonna, well, you're gonna post another one and it may do better. Like, I think it's just kind of really stupid what they're doing here for the platform. Obviously, as you can tell, this has a really, really poor like to dislike ratio. 44K, including myself, have disliked this video because it's a horrible update by YouTube, and people aren't happy about this. Now, continuing on.
That's a big problem when half of YouTube's mission is to give everyone a voice.
You really give everyone a voice. Well, your algorithm and some of your other things and unsubbing people from channels and doing that, it doesn't really seem that you're interested in giving people a voice. It seems like you're interested in defending certain media corporations or special interest groups that are, you're kind of together with and on your platform instead of promoting regular small creators like me or someone like that has 100,000 subs or whatever, that they should have fair competition to these large media American media companies or wherever you're from. And it really doesn't. YouTube really promotes these media companies over that because they're trusted sources and verified, which a lot of people know that's not necessarily true, and that there's bias and often um, a lot of inaccurate reports made. Now, continuing on.
So earlier in 2021, YouTube experimented with making the public dislike count private to see if it would help reduce these coordinated dislike attacks across the platform. And after analysis, they did see a reduction. So the update from YouTube.
Well, the reason why they see a reduction is because since people can't see this dislike count, they're going to be like, well, what's the point? There's going to be quite a few people that are going to be like, oh, well, I'm just not going to dislike the video. I'm just not going to watch the video. And continuing on.
Is that the dislike button is staying, but the dislike counts will now be private. You can still dislike videos, and that action will be used to tune your own recommendations, but you won't be able to see the dislike count. Only the creator can find it on the back end if they want. Now, a few common questions we saw from the initial experiment. First, without a public dislike count, how can viewers tell if a video is worth watching? Again, I kind of had this question too, but it turns out that while viewers might use the dislike count to give them a sense of a video's worth, when the teams looked at the data across millions of viewers and videos in the experiment, they didn't see a noticeable difference in viewership.
That's the problem. When people click on a video, it's a view. What really should be looked at is the watch time of videos. Because let's say you don't see this dislike and it's kind of hard to figure out, oh, is this a bad video? You're going to watch more of this video and it's going to take you longer and waste more of your time, which ideally YouTube wants because they can make more money. But that's not really what's driving this, it's other stuff. Um, YouTube just, that's a horrible thing because when you click on the video, it's a view. Like if you play it for like 3 seconds, hey, that's a view. What they really should be looking at is the watch time, and I think that's where they would see a huge difference. Like with the dislike thing, they'll see a much less watch time. Without it, they may see triple or quadruple or whatever.
Regardless of whether they could see the dislike count or not. In other words, it didn't really matter if a video had a lot of dislikes or not, they still watched. Next common question, if creators can still see the dislike count on the back end, how's that any different? They can see it if they look for it inside Studio Analytics under the Engagement tab. But overall, it's much less likely to cause stress and embarrassment if the count isn't visible to the public.
Mm, I think it's important that the public sees this count so they can obviously, as I've mentioned many times before, to see if the videos are good or bad video. And if you really are getting embarrassed by having a video that's heavily disliked, more than likely you're the one who has the wrong opinion or a controversial opinion that people may not like. And if you can't live with that, maybe you should not be posting content. Or if you like, you can just turn off the comments section and turn off the likes and dislikes.
And one more common question, is this because YouTube Rewind got lots of dislikes? No, although there are some teams internally
Mm, it may have a little bit to do with this, but I bet that's not the driving factor, so I can move that.
who have learned the hard way what it feels like to get lots of dislikes. Now, this again is about protecting all creators and making sure they have a chance to succeed and feel safe.
Really safe. Well, if they want to feel safe, they can always just turn off their comments section or likes and dislikes. Like, if they don't want to interact with their audience, that's the easiest way to do it. They could get bullied on other platforms like Twitter, which Twitter's just a toxic hellhole because that's just Twitter. But like, there are ways to stop it so you can't like get all these mean comments or whatever. Like, unless people communicate you through another platform. Like, and in that situation, like the creator is a creator. They should believe in what they're believing in and have critical thinking to see, well, maybe I was wrong here, or they'll say, you know what, did I have a bad take, or is it just my opinion is not favorable to most people? It's like, okay, well, we move on to the next video. Problem is, these people have to speak, attitude. And they're like, "Oh, I got all these dislikes. It's really bad. What am I gonna do?" And they go ballistic and they're like all overconscious about it. It's like, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a bad video. It's not good for your channel necessarily if it happens over and over and over again. And at that point, you're probably more than likely doing something wrong, or you're saying something that's super offensive, relatively speaking. Continuing on.
in doing so. All right, so that's
Also, how are you protecting creators? Like, other than like people that are too sensitive to see their video get really disliked, like YouTube, perhaps.
the update. I hope it doesn't cause too much
Oh, it's going to cause a lot of frustration. There's a huge amount of backlash, and you're going to see that here in just a minute.
frustration. Honestly, I think you're going to get used to it pretty quickly. And keep in mind, other platforms don't even have a dislike button.
Yeah, but they're not as fundamental. Like Instagram, you can just scroll right through. YouTube, it's important. It's been mentioned here. I've mentioned it many times. I'm not going to reiterate it again. But point is, the dislike button and seeing that public count is very important. So moving on, this is a video that PewDiePie came out with today. I'm going to take a piece of the video here. So in the first part, he argues kind of like in favor of the thing. So he makes a couple points. Or like he says, makes the point like, oh, other platforms don't have a dislike, and um, there might be a few creators that just get these dislikes for no reason, and et cetera, et cetera. He's trying to play devil's advocate for each side. I'm going to play just a little bit, maybe about a minute here, if even.
But the thing is, it's a bit different with YouTube because on Instagram or TikTok at least, all you do is keep scrolling and that's it. You don't care. You don't need to have a dislike button if you don't like something. You just move on, right? But with YouTube, it's an indication of if it's a good video or not, if you want to commit to watching it. Which leads me to a point of, and probably the main point of why keeping the dislike bar is good, is because, you know, if you're looking up a tutorial video and it has 20% or more dislike count, I'm not going to watch that video. I know it's a bad tutorial. It's not going to waste my time, and I'm not going to get annoyed by watching it. YouTube is saying that we are making the dislike count private to protect our creators by reducing targeted dislikes attacks on their channel. So that's one of the main reasons that they're removing it. But I never seen that. Have you seen that? What are they referencing exactly? Targeted harassment? Usually when that happens, it's when someone's getting canceled, right? That function.
Exactly. That's kind of like, I think, the main point, and I think he's probably in favor, like he's against having the dislike button move because it's important for people to see it. So, and then you have videos like this, the most disliked video in history for YouTube, and this the most cringe thing to ever exist. I think these are drag queens. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, I did make a post about this on my Twitter. I quote tweeted YouTube. I just said, I think this is the worst update ever pushed by YouTube to protect small creators my ass. This is to protect large media corporations, politicians, and oversensitive creators, which I think, obviously, it's my opinion on the subject, but I think there'd be many people that agree with me. And then I make the point why it's important, as I've talked about in this video. So now we're just going to take a quick look. Here's what Team YouTube posted. They have been ratioed, basically 2-to-1 with quote tweets to likes. So that's funny. So Odyssey's an alt-tech platform. It's funny how that they're completely ratioing YouTube. 42.3K likes and only 8,000 here. That's kind of sad. Like looking at the reply sections. And here's one. This is the worst decision in years. Now you can't filter trash, clickbait, or bad videos. Exactly. It's important for things like technical videos. For example, when our conference talks or tutorials, or for game trailers, it's great to see how well or bad it was received. Then YouTube says, like, count, and comments are still visible to help you get a feel how helpful the tutorial is, etc. You this feedback during our experiments, and the decision was made lightly. Ultimately, we believe it's the right thing to do to help protect creators and disincentivize attacks. No, it's not disincentivizing attacks. It's disincentivizing people from pressing the dislike button because they're like, "What's the point? I can't see it. Public can't see it, etc." Except the creator. They said this is a joke to protect small creators. This is to protect big corporations from criticism and to support their bottom line. Full stop. Really disappointing. Gonna have to reconsidering my premium sub. Well, yeah, I would do that too. I don't have YouTube Premium because I don't feel that it's worth it, worth my time. Even though I use YouTube a lot, I don't feel like giving Google whatever it costs per month YouTube Premium just because, well, I don't want to. And then YouTube just replies, and YouTube just kind of has like these standard quote replies. It seems like replied over and over and over again. Like comments and comment like this is a bad move. The number of dislikes is a useful tool when looking at tutorials. People keep iterating the same points. Everyone, like all these different people. And Josh Gaming, might as well just get rid of the dislike button entirely. What's even the point of it? Yeah, see how people see the value of it. Users can still dislike. This is just kind of like the automated replies, not fully automated, but it just seems like similar. Funny for the quartering. This isn't to protect small creators, it is to protect brands. Everyone knows it. That is true. Look at how ratio this is. Ratio. I'm sorry, but what are these? Targeted dislike attacks you're talking about? Mass dislike happens on videos that get bad reception. That's how it works. There's no attacks happening. Hiding it is just babying channels that can't handle any sort of criticism. I agree with that. Anyways, I think that really gives people the idea of what people are thinking. That's kind of my idea. Please do consider subscribing to the channel, giving this video a like, commenting in the comment section below, and consider following me or watching me on my other social medias. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Have a great day.